people didn't suddenly have a flare-up of India hate. I've been monitoring the Indian hate web.
I think that there are a lot of people that don't like Indians, and they think that India is gross, and they don't like the country. I think there's a huge amount of people that are like that. But that's the same with people with any country. I mean, there's no country in the world that there aren't a bunch of negative stereotypes that people would talk about. It's just how it is.
For a while, it's actually set to my homepage. I've been checking these websites out. I watch what these people do.
Yeah.
There were very few overt Indian haters spewing their nonsensical filth everywhere 72 hours ago. What happened? Yeah. Okay, 72 hours ago.
I'm not sure if I would agree with that. I think that there's been a massive uptick in Indian negativity, and I think it's been happening in the last 6 months to a year or so. Am I crazy? Because I feel like it's been happening a lot. Now, this dialed it up to 11. Definitely that's true. But, like, I remember Mudahar talked about it, and then after Apu, well, I'm not sure about that. For the past year, yeah, I think there's been a lot of it. Yeah, Barry Stanton, remember him? Oh, there it is. It bled over from Canada. I don't, yeah, apparently, right? But that's it. It's because of crypto culture. There's tons of memes about Indian employees. Yeah, right? Well, like, either way, like, I've seen so many photos of, like, people saying, oh, open up Google Maps. Anywhere you go on Google Maps in India, you can see a picture of, like, you can see garbage in it, right? Like, this has been going on for longer than 3 days. It's been going on for a while. And this is coming from somebody, I'd like to go to India, right? Like, I think India is cool, right? I mean, but sure, of course people are going to have bad things to say. They're going to have bad things to say about anywhere. It's true, though. You should try it.
Most people in the MAGA base looked at Vivek Ramaswamy with some notion of admiration, or, hey, that guy says cool stuff every once in a while. Hey, you know what? I think I like that guy.
People like him. Yeah.
Now, he's got to be deported. Sucks, man. And he's not being deported because of the color of his skin. He's being deported for the content of his character. And I think that there is a lot of authentic, genuine racial anxiety that exists inside of, like, the Trump base. And I feel like it's almost like it's like an elephant in the room that nobody's willing to address. But I do think that it exists. And I think that if Vivek was the same type of person and he was just your generic everyday white guy, I think he probably would have gotten better poll numbers. So I do think it's a factor. I absolutely do. But it's not the only factor. Vivek's American? I agree with you. I'm not arguing for racism. I'm arguing that people are racist. Like, that's the point that I'm making. It's two separate things. You don't need to convince me of this. We're discussing a type of thinking. I'm not arguing a point of view. Truly was a mask-off moment where we saw that Vivek Ramaswamy really is just a fucking nerd who needs to go back.
Here's the thing. I actually think Vivek was right about everything he said. I think he was totally right. But the difference is that when you criticize a culture that people perceive you not being a part of, everybody gets super defensive. That's like why, for example, it's okay to make racial jokes about the group that you're a part of. But when people make racial jokes about a group that they're not part of, it's seen as problematic. It's kind of like a implicit understanding. Who would say anything about culture?
It's different. I think it's everybody spurgs out. I'm spurging out right now. I'm going to spurg out later, okay? On Chris, Lynch. And also, Indians do cool stuff every once in a while. They got the chest slapping wrestling. You guys watch that? Action movies. He's shooting a bullet out of the air with a gun. He's flipping over the tuk-tuk. Indian clubs, shoulder rehab, exercise, fantastic. The hate. It's irrational hate.
Are these Bollywood movies? I feel like they basically just take anime and they just have real people do it. I mean, it's like if people were in... it's crazy. It's basic. Bollywood's like anime. Yeah, it's anime with real people.
It's just racism. It's just a nonsensical racism. The hate and racism and anti-Indian sentiment, it's there to the extent that Indians are being used to replace white people.
He's right.
That's it.
Yep.
We have to stop playing pretend.
That's exactly it.
Not talking about exceptional Indians here. And that's why this is sort of spreading like wildfire, people sharing these H-1B lists of what the jobs are. You are not in Calcutta scouting for the next Indian Einstein. You're not. We have to make it to outer space and invent new computers. Let's get to India and get the next Nikola Tesla. That's not what's happening. We're talking about people at fucking gas stations. You bring them over, you put them in a fucking gas station, and then we'll go around all the gas stations in the USA and find the next genius. Well, what if he's not in India? What if he's working at a gas station in North Carolina? He might be there.
I've seen this before too. So like what he's referring to is there were a lot of people that like after the H-1B visa like controversy happened, a lot of people started linking like pictures of people that either had the visas or people that were like looking to have the positions filled by people with the visas. And a lot of the positions were just like average American jobs, and they weren't like, you know, high-end systems data analysis at like Meta. So that's what he's talking about.
Why don't we bring everybody here and then we can look for everybody?
Yeah.
That's actually a fucking genius idea. We bring fucking everybody here, and then, like a needle in a haystack, we find the one man who can invent electrical computer.
Oh.
That sounds fucking retarded, and it's not true. You have to at least say that the H-1B program is being scammed. If you don't admit that, then as far as like any type of discussion that goes anywhere is concerned, it's over.
He's right. He's completely right. You can't tell people that you have a program that's for exceptional people, and then people find job listings for being a cashier. You just can't do like that. Whether you agree with it or not, it's just not going to sell. Like it or not, he's saying what people won't because of fear of cancellation. Yeah, I mean, I've said this myself. I mean, I try to be the same, right? And so, yeah, maybe being a cashier is exceptional. Sure, right? And I'm sure there are exceptional cashiers, but there's a lot of them here. The idea is that these visas are there as a means to solve job vacancies that could not be solved otherwise.